We explained earlier the massive fall in American copper prices overnight as the US administration hit finished copper products, mainly pipe and wire, with a 50% tariff. That was as Donald Trump had promised days earlier.
Ones we did steel, as you know, they're 50%. We did aluminum, 50%. Lumber just came out.
Why don't you announce copper?
And we did cars. And now today we're doing copper.
Copper and lumber. What would that tariff be on? The sectional tariff?
I believe the tariff on copper, we're going to make it 50%.
Australia, of course, has some massive copper players, BHP, Rio Tinto, Glencore, you could even say Sandfire Resource. We mentioned some of those earlier. Well, Daniel Hynes is the ANZ Bank's senior commodity strategist who joins me now. Daniel, good to chat to you. What's your own sense of this? Is this a very Americanised local thing, or is this something that can affect the global supply of copper as well?
Well, copper markets and commodities in general are a global market. So, whatever happens in the US is going to have an impact globally. And certainly we've seen the impact up until today with those US prices really surging as the market started to price in the impact of those tariffs. Now that it looks like it's not being applied to refined metal, only to those semi-processed or finished products, we've obviously seen the US copper price fall quite dramatically, essentially back now to sort of global benchmarks like that are traded on the London Metal Exchange.
So one of the important things that might be a benefit to Australia is that big fall in the American copper price might make some question whether they should develop mines in America as compared with, say, for example, importing the raw material, the ingots, from places such as Australia. So that almost is a bit of a tick for even BHP, which is due to make a decision about whether to expand Olympic Dam in the first quarter of 2027.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about boosting their domestic market, and so these efforts or these tariffs that they decided to place on finished products was essentially a sign to say, look, we can't incentivise that domestic production enough at this point in time, and so we'll just tariff those finished products. That does open the door up for imports of both the copper ore or concentrate, as well as that refined metal. So certainly global producers such as BHP will continue to benefit from that. Although I think over the course of time, there's certainly going to be that additional push, I suppose, to develop US assets. And look, some of our companies, such as Rio Tinto, have operations in the US. I suspect they'll continue to look at opportunities there.
But this resurgence in copper, it really is all about artificial intelligence. It's about the giant data centres and the amount of copper they require. It's about renewable energy, the amount of copper it requires. It's about batteries, the amount of copper it needs, along with all of the other industrial production that's always been there. So this is where it's not just that America can create enough copper of its own. It will need global supplies ultimately.
No, absolutely. And look, these tariffs don't fundamentally change, that really strong outlook over the longer term. In fact, they probably exacerbate the situation. I mean, the US is the largest collection of, or has the largest collection of data centres, and they're going to need a huge amount of copper to feed the infrastructure around those, as well as the energy requirements that will power them. So, the demands are only getting greater, and I suspect, the copper price will continue to push higher over the longer term as demand really starts to accelerate amidst this global phenomenon we're seeing at the moment.
That's right, but copper is also one of the most prevalent materials on Earth. It's just where it's concentrated so that it can be mined in sufficiently profitable quantities, I guess. So that's the key of it. It's not just in one place or another. It's pretty much spread right around the globe.
Correct, and really the price tends to, dictate, where that supply comes from. Certainly, the lack of growth in supply means that prices need to push higher to incentivise some of that higher cost production, which is certainly an issue in countries like South America, or regions such as South America, where the operating conditions are getting more and more challenging, and so that cost of producing copper continues to rise, and thus the incentive price, the price the market is telling it needs to be to drag in that additional supply is only getting higher, and that's where we really sit now. Certainly that demand is pushing that price higher.
Brilliant. Daniel Hynes, ANZ's Global Commodity Strategist, many thanks for your time.
My pleasure.